sir, and welcome back. Repeat lesson number 18. 1-8. And the rest went hungry. That's right, we're up to 18. Who would have thought it possible? But no, it's true. We're here. I think that gives us a good opportunity to go, arr! I didn't hear you. Come on, let's shiver them timbers. Remember, let's shiver them timbers. Let's make this place shake. Give me an R, R. Give me another R, R. Put them all together and they spell R. Right, stand and laugh like a pirate. That's it, we're good. You remember your port and your starboard? You do? Good job, I won't test you then. Tricked you there. Right, what's to talk about today? We're talking about Black Bart, Bartholomew Roberts. Gonna talk about some of his adventures, right? But I didn't want to give you all the wrong impressions about, pirating and that it's all fun and games, Other things happen. I was going to tell you one about one of my misadventures, right? One that didn't quite work out. It happened on land. Maybe that was the problem, You know what it's like on land when you're not used to being on land and all that kind of stuff. Not good things happen. Good things happen at sea. That's what I find. On the Beatrice, the beloved Beatrice and all that kind of stuff. So, I was on land and I was wandering about. Just wandering about. Keeping the odd sneaky eye out for a bit of treasure. All right, but no, not really seeing anything. Until, all of a sudden, I sees a chicken tearing across, running like a demon. It was going so fast, it was like poultry in motion. It was amazing, So I started chasing it. I thought, well, this chicken, I'm going to have some dinner. And I catch me the fastest chicken I've ever seen. So I'm running after it, I'm running as fast as I could. But it just stayed too far out of reach. And when I stopped, I pulled out my pistol, right? And aimed it for it. It ran out of range. Got just out of range. And then just stood there and looked at me. Daring me. I put it back in. And I thought, damn you. And I chased it again. And I'm running. As fast as I can. But I couldn't catch the blighter. And then, what happened? I saw a horse. And I thought, ha! I got you now. So I leapt aboard the pony. I took out my cutlass. Right? And I chased him. And I'm erging it on with a flat of me cutlass, left and right, as fast as I could. And the horse was going for it. He didn't want that, I mean, it wasn't doing me any good. And it wasn't doing the horse any good. But we kept chasing until we just gave up exhaustion. We stopped. Because we couldn't keep up with it. And then the chicken just stood and looked at us. Just out of range again. And just crowed. And then strode off into the sunset. I watched it go in his spyglass. And I'm looking at it as it heads towards the horizon. And I thought, that chicken has got 3 legs. Unbelievable. I'd never seen it before. 3 legs. So, I'm walking along the rest of the day. I'm just exhausted, I'm walking along. And I see this farmer-looking bloke, right? This farmer-looking bloke. And he's carrying his bucket of eggs, right? A old metal bucket full of eggs. I thought, he might know something about that. I said, Sir Farmer, have you ever seen a chicken with 3 legs? And he said, aye, that'd be one of mine. It'd be one of mine. I bred it special like. I said, really? Why? Well, he says, Sunday dinner, right? Everybody likes a bowl, the old drumstick. Everybody wants a drumstick. So if you go make the Sunday special, have a 3-legged chicken, right? So you can share an extra drumstick every time you cook a chicken, right? And it'd make me a fortune. It'd make me a wealthy man, he said. I thought, that sounds bright. I said, well, what do they taste like? And he said, I don't know. I can't catch the blighters. That's right. That's why you gotta stick to land. Never go out to land there, right? Never want to go back to land, because stay on board. That's where I know what I'm doing. And who else knew what he was doing? Black Bart, Bartholomew Robert. He was one of the best pirates ever. Some people say he was the best pirate ever. Over 3 years, right? He took 400 prizes, over 400 prizes, all right? That's more fingers than I've got there. 400 prizes, that's a lot, all right? That's a lot, over just 3 years. He was so successful. And, right, he came to pirating late in life, all right? He was 37 when he was made a captain, right? He's old captain, old Davis, old Horatio Davis, right? He died, and the crew voted, and they said, we want old Black Bart, Bartholomew Roberts, to be our captain. And you know, he'd been a sailor since he was 13, right? But he hadn't been a captain, he just had different jobs there. He'd been a professional sailor, so he knew what he was doing around the boat, right? But he'd only been on the pirate ship for 6 weeks, right? His old ship, the Princess, had been taken 6 weeks earlier, and they end up signing him on as an extra crew member, right? Because they need him. And then it took him 6 weeks to win over the crew, right? So they'll vote for him to be captain. Amazing, you know. But he had a lot going for him, right? He was a good-looking fellow. He was tall, right? He's quite bright, right? And he was well-built and brave. He was brave. He'd already showed he was a brave man. He was well-built, and he had swarthy dark features as well. Very handsome, all that kind of stuff. And long hair and all that, you know. He was a snappy dresser. He liked wearing the silks, right? And he had a big, you know, diamond-crusted cross on his neck, right, kind of stuff like that. And a hat in his hat, right? And a big red feather, right, that kind of stuff. He used to stand in the breeze with his wind blowing his hair and a feather there like that. So, you know, he had all that going for him, you know, so he looked like a pirate. So they thought, we will have him. He looks good, right? And also, like, he was a bit of a Puritan type, you know, like he only drank tea, right? And he was big on his articles, the rules, right? Everyone, remember the articles we did that the week? Well, Bartholomew Roberts, he was really strong on the articles, right? And everyone had to do what they were told, so that worked out good for him, right? And he did have a pretty determined streak about him too. One time, right? And he did this a few times actually. He'd go there and he'd hold the ship for ransom, right? And he'd say, if you don't pay me the ransom, I'm going to burn the ship in front of you. And he did. That's it. If they didn't pay the ransom, he was just there and he'd watch the ship burn. Why, there's nothing they could do, right? So he got that reputation of being steely and all that kind of stuff. And he was really good at getting prizes and stuff. And he was smart, right? Smart. He had 4 ships normally, right? A fleet, about 2 to 4 fleet ships, but mostly 4 ships like that. And he'd have them working together, and you know, he'd tandem, right? They'd surround their prey and all that sort of stuff, and get it all that kind of really smart, you know. And he'd keep working them. You know, he was funny with his names too, like because he called them like the Fortune, and the Good Fortune, and the Royal Fortune. So not a real original, but you can sort of tell, you know, that he was doing it, you know. He was there, they're all his ships and all that kind of stuff. You know, remember last time we were talking about flags, and we had ended up having like 4 flags, right? I've got the ones we had from the flag class. Remember these ones, right? He had the 2 ones that we brought up last time, but he had 2 others, right? So that was one of his standard sort of flags, right there. You got the spear and all that sort of stuff. And the mug, that hourglass saying your time is short, I'm coming to get you, all that sort of stuff, right? And he had the special one. Remember the Barbados guys, right, that? And he didn't like them, remember that? You know, the guys from Barbados and Martinique, right, the 2 islands. So he used to have one flag he used to wear when he was around there, right? And that was basically the skulls of somebody from Barbados. And that's one from Martinique, right? So that was how he sort of scared them off, you know, that kind of stuff, because he was pretty scary. And he swore vengeance against all them, right? That. So they were scared of him, you know. He was good at selling himself as a pirate. So one of his best ever adventures, right? One of his best ever adventures, big prizes and all that kind of stuff. So there was a whole Portuguese fleet, right? Of treasure ships, okay? They're like an old Bart, right? Being the sneaky and brave sort of bugger he was, right? He pulls in behind the fleet on the convoy, right? Just join tags onto the end. And he's just sailing along with all these ships, right? And they hadn't really noticed him, right? He's got the right flags and all that sort of stuff. And they tag along. And then pulled up into a bay around Brazil, right? Way in there. He went to the nearest ship. And he took it over, right? He took over the nearest ship, right? Got hold of it. Then he's got the captain, right? The master of the other ship. He said, now which one of these ships here has the most loot on it? Which has the most treasure? And they went, be that one over there. And so he went, right. So he jumped back on his ship, right? They sailed straight over to it, attacked it, boarded it, right? Took over the ship. He got his ship and that ship, and they sailed off straight away, right? Before the other ships in the convoy knew what was happening. I mean, he had all these gunships there protecting it, but they didn't see what was happening until they realised what was going on, and he was over the horizon, all right? And they never caught him. So he ran off for the ship because he was brave and courageous, all right? Lots of stuff like that he did, you know. There was another time, right, where he come up to a port in Newfoundland right? He come up to that port, right? Had 22 ships at anchor in the port, and he attacked. And he burnt and trashed 21 of them, right? And kept the other one for himself to add to his crew. It'd be a good something or other, you know, the Fortune something or this, you know, right? He did all that kind of stuff, right? And his mothership, his main ship, right? His main ship, right? That was the Royal Fortune. And that'd be a huge big frigate, used to be the Oslo, right? And then he turned in his ship, the Good Fortune, changed the name and made it a pirate ship. Good pirate ship names, right? And that was the match of the Queen Anne, which was the biggest pirate ship that ever lived, right? So that's how he was. He was courageous and brave. And, a bit too proud probably in the long run, because that's what got him in the end, I'm afraid, right? Because, he was doing so much damage, like 400 trips, right? 400 plus he got, right? So the government, the English government, right? The king sent off the HMS Swallow, right? A big, mighty battleship to hunt him down, right? And so he already lost, right? The Great Ranger was one of his ships, right? He lost that Great Ranger to the Swallow, so he'd already done that. And eventually, the Swallow had got him at anchor, right? He was at anchor in a bay, and the Swallows appeared, right? And it's around breakfast time, and the crews rushed down and said, Captain, 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 the Swallow's here. And what did he do? Well, he's a bit cocky by this stage, the old Bart. And he said, "What? I'll finish my breakfast." So he sat, elegantly finished his breakfast, as he's an elegant man, would have rubbed his mouth and all this kind of stuff. And he's come out onto the deck. But instead of running like a smart pirate, like me and the Beatrice, we would have just been straight out of there like that, Hoist the mainsails, let's go. All right, that's how we would have done it, right? We would have got out of there. But no, he thought, I'll take this big ship on, because I am Black Bart, king of the pirates. He even called himself the king of the Leeward Islands at that stage. That's what he said. Remember, Leeward's the other side of the wind, right? The wind's going to, that's the leeward side. But that's what he called it, because of the way the islands were in those places, the wind, that's the way the winds worked there, right? That's why he called himself that. Okay, so, but he was courageous, so he said, no, I'm going to take it on. And so then he sailed directly towards the Swallow. He took attack it, just took it head on, as a brave man that he was. But you remember I told you that expression, one of those other classes, right? About long shot. Remember I said the cannons are really unlucky, and that's where long shot come from. If you were lucky if you hit it, that's why long shot is lucky to happen, or that kind of stuff. You're lucky if you hit anything long. Well, that's what happened. First shot from the Swallow, right? And they were firing grape, Remember we talked about the cannons a couple of classes back as well? Actually, probably a lot of classes back now. I think that was near the beginning, right? But grape is like lots of small shells. They package them up, and then it explodes as they go, and it shatters out. Right, so it just randomly rips through everything and through all the rigging and all that kind of stuff. It does a lot of damage all around the place. So it just shoots out, but not really accurate at all, right? But they've shot the first lot. It's been grape, right? It's just ripped through, and of course, old Bart is right up the front, daring them and cheering and blowing his crew on and get all that. And what's happened is a bit of grapes hit him through the neck, ripped his throat out, and he was dead. That's it. He was gone. It's just like that. All that bravery come to naught, all right, at the end. And what happened next? Well, remember I said the articles, they're all sticklers of the articles. So these articles were, in battle, if somebody should pass away, right, in battle, you toss him over the edge, get him out of the road so he can do the fighting. Otherwise, they're going to be tripping over him and all that kind of stuff. So what happened was, they tossed him overboard. Of course, as soon as the old pirates realized they didn't really know what they were doing, and in the middle of this big battle with a Swallow, which massively outgunned them and all that sort of stuff, they had all these troopers and all this sort of stuff there. They just surrendered straight away. And that was the end of Black Bart's crew as well. They're all captured and taken away for trial and all that sort of stuff. And so ends another pirate adventure with Black Bart. See? Crazy stuff, this pirate. So you got some good stories and some bad stories. So, so you can make an educated decision when you get to the end of the course, whether you want to be a pirate or not. So, I think at the end of that, it might be time for us to give one more Arr! Or perhaps another Arr! And perhaps we could put them all together, and they would in fact spell Arr! That's right. We've come to the end of lesson number 18, which means next one is 19. Only 19. Sounds like a good day for a pirate song, I think. Only 19. Oh, well, I know what also might happen soon. Maybe for class 20, I think. If we're going to get to 20, I might think about it could be time to do some laundering of these pirate clothes. Because otherwise, I won't be able to creep up on anyone. They'll know we're coming. Me and the Beatrice will go, oh my goodness, that pirate's coming. We got to get out of here. Anyway, talking about getting out of here, I'm going to pipe us all down. And be seeing you next week. Bye, old shipmates. Arrivederci.